This is Vianding, a true blue otaku youth. He had just packed his bags and booked his ticket. Excitement bubbling as he set off his destination, none other than the legendary anime festival. But as he stepped onto the plane, something incredible happened. Vianding slipped through a portal to another dimension. Suddenly, he found himself in a strange new world, almost getting trampled by a dragon-drawn carriage. He realized this place was unlike anything he'd ever known. People here wielded magic and soared through the skies. Some even rode dragons, making Vianding wonder if this was an anime festival taken to a breathtaking, extravagant level. Then, a dragon's tongue flicked across his face, snapping him back to reality. This was no festival. He had truly been transported to another world. Armed with encyclopedic knowledge of Isekai tales, Vianding took just 2 days to regain his senses. Deep down, he believed himself to be the hero of this story. He pictured a mountain of hacks, unimaginable powers, and a destiny as the ultimate champion. Soon after, an old man discovered him. Recognizing him as an outsider from another city, the old man escorted Vianding to an academy for a power evaluation, brimming with confidence. Vianding proudly approached, and the giant magic stone before him burst with a blinding white light. Just as pride swelled within him, 2 girls urged him to leave, explaining the stone radiates the color of each person's elemental affinity. White meant he had none, but upon closer inspection, they found a faint green aura within him. They advised Vianding to return only after about 15 days of training. Heavy-hearted and defeated, Vianding crossed paths with the old man again. The old man believed no one was useless. If Vianding wished, he could work as a gardener, since he did possess a little bit of the wood element. Vianding accepted, partly to make a living. He learned gardening from the old man, using his powers solely to nurture seeds. These seeds sprouted faster than normal. One day, Vianding caught a flower thief spying on him only to be caught himself. They chased and threatened him, leaving him shaken, returning home in despair. He asked the old man, "Will powerless people like us always suffer humiliation?" The old man wasn't sure he'd spent half his life wandering, seeking the pinnacle of strength. That pinnacle, he said, was the elves. Elves possessed incredible power, and the old man had even discovered how to grow elves. With a mysterious seed in hand, he tried for years without success. Now, he offered Vianding the chance to try. Noticing ancient ceiling characters inscribed in Chinese on the seed, Vianding guessed this was meant for him, for days. He tried using his powers to unlock it. When magic rituals failed, desperation set in. Channeling scenes from his favourite shows, he resorted to using blood for a ritual sacrifice. Nursing the pain, he pricked his hand and let a drop fall onto the seed, but nothing stirred, leaving him defeated in the dark. Venturing into the forest, he spotted the flower thieves again. This time, he uncovered a terrifying truth: the girl was a blood-sucking vampire. One foolish victim was bitten. His friend sought revenge, but as a mere novice, his powers weren't enough to face a vampire, and he was captured. Panic-stricken, Vianding slipped away unnoticed. Just when he thought he was safe, she appeared behind him, binding him with vines, and plunged a dagger deep into him. He thought his world had come to an end, but suddenly, the seed within him blossomed into a fierce pixie. He believed this might be his chance. If this pixie asked him if he was her master, he would have been overjoyed, but she demanded to know the identity of the one who summoned her here and threatened to take that person's life. Fury burned in her eyes as she saw the seed wilting, so she decided to slay the demon and restore the seed's vitality. He woke up, heart pounding, thrilled to find he was still alive. This girl must be the pixie that just emerged. He wanted her to accept him as her master, but she believed saving him was a prelude. To personally punishing him for what he had done. She accused him of imprisoning her for 15 long years. But as she lunged forward, though wounded, the seed didn't feel pain, and she struck the very spot where she had slashed it before. She tried over and over, but the outcome was always the same. Then a girl, the academy's director, arrived and revealed that the more she attacked, the more she harmed herself. She handed the seed a book about pixies and urged him to tame the pixie before joining her to find a temporary shelter. He read the spell and absorbed the spirit into the book. The director took him to her home for refuge. She explained that pixies were once a mighty tribe until one night. For reasons unknown, all pixies vanished. The book she gave the seed was the only record of how to control a pixie. He thought she was giving it freely, but she said he must attend her academy and help uncover demons hiding within the school first. Still hesitant, he agreed when she promised to give him a few more seeds. That night, he experimented and realized the bond between master and pixie needed closeness. Gingo, grow stronger. Suddenly, a voice echoed, and his heart leapt. It was the voice every protagonist must hear. Before, he couldn't hear it because he wasn't ready. The voice told him he could enter the world created by the pixie. So nice. Because pixies evolved from humans and share a common consciousness. But to begin, he had to wait a day for the pixie to recover. After that, she merged into the seed's phone for easy use. The next morning, he arrived at the academy, but many eyes looked down on him. One guy threw a demon stone at him to bait him into revealing weak powers, but when he grabbed it, the stone blazed with wood and water energy. It grew so large the stone shattered from its own power. Seizing the moment, he approached a girl who happened to be the school's beauty queen, a leap from 0 to hero in one stride. Checking the dictionary, he learned the strength came from absorbing demon energy. And the charm spells were fueled by that demon as well. At school, girls constantly sought his attention. But during physical training, the teacher pushed him to run until he gasped for air. Jealous youths challenged him to duels, forcing him to fight or lose face before the teacher. As the battle loomed, Princess Anki appeared with him. She was the godlike, rumoured to take down a dragon alone. The fight began. The challenger unleashed gusts of wind, but he blocked every strike unscathed. The pixie urged him to summon her to fight, but refusing to let her be the shield. He wanted to prove his own strength and declined. Focusing his will, he released a powerful wood element strike. Opening his eyes, he found the battlefield reduced to ruins. Behind him stood the pixie girl. He took her for healing, but was soon chased and beaten by slave traders. When he woke, the dictionary revealed he had entered the pixie's mental realm, a glimpse into her memories. This meant that the memories belonged to his pixie, McFi. Calling her, she scolded him. She blamed him for not summoning her to fight. But he refused to treat her as a mere tool, only calling her if she truly wished. Suddenly, 2 girls arrived seeking his rival. They handed the rival a package. This made the seed jealous, but McFi revealed they were real demons, silencing him. When the unlucky guy next door was drained dry, the 2 planned to deal with him until their commander arrived with orders. Tonight they would act. He didn't know why bad luck clung to him, but first, food was essential. Just as he prepared to eat, he heard a noise at the door and grew anxious. Peeking out, he punched only to find Anki there. Fearing a beating, he was relieved she came alone. He let her in, and they rested. Waking up, she suspected mischief and hit him. He offered instant noodles as apology, which she accepted instantly. Now he pondered the soldiers and suspected a link to what he overheard in the infirmary. Suddenly, Anki sensed someone approaching. He hid her as 2 demons arrived, but they used their noses to sniff out his location. Sensing danger, He tied them up with cucumbers and escaped with Anki. He urged her to flee, promising a bowl of noodles if she stayed safe. Then he lured the demons away and summoned McFi. She struck the two demons and cast a barrier trapping them. Just as she prepared to send them to hell, Laknyat shattered the barrier and charged in, swiftly slashing the demons. The dictionary warned MacDeep would struggle against Laknyat at her current level, but MacFi wasn't afraid. She vowed victory to avenge him. The dictionary states that Moye, at his current level, would struggle to defeat Laknyat, but Mofi is unafraid she will win to avenge him. The situation remains quite dire. The dictionary reveals that the only way to increase combat power now is to enhance intimacy with her. There are two ways to boost this: through daily communication or by re-entering that realm of consciousness. He wishes to enter, but his energy is insufficient. Suddenly, Anki rushes over, offering to transfer energy to him. She also recognizes the enemy ahead as quite familiar. Laknyat, feeling a bit unsettled, turns to aim at Vianding. He tricks Anki into closing her eyes, channeling energy into him. In exchange, it was still just noodles. She began casting magic while Luo Ri had already sent Mofei flying. She aimed straight for Yuan Ding, and to shield him, she took the blow herself. Meanwhile, he had entered Mofei's mind space, trying to warn her of an enemy's sneak attack. He found himself invisible to her, proof that he truly existed within this realm. Mofei had gone to collect his reward and unexpectedly met Yuan Ding here. She wanted to buy back the sword, but he refused to sell. Yuan Ding was shocked to find someone who looked exactly like him, at home. Mofei had heard that Yuan Ding was very close to children, because they loved listening to his music. Once, he was beaten by thugs while protecting a little girl. Seeing this injustice, Mofei stepped in to help and was repaid with the gift of the sword. Yet, she had never received a gift before, and this sword was precious. She took it as a token of exchange. If you ever need help, just call, I'll come. Still, Yuan Ding sensed this imposter was clearly a fake. He had clearly investigated Mofei and was waiting there with a cat to lure her in. Plus, he tried to charm kids and knew how to play the guitar, all things that would win a girl's heart. On top of that, he gave her a precious sword, something a killer like Mofei would treasure. Not to mention, he was handsome, so everything was clearly a ploy to win her over. Back outside, and Chi's energy was running out. The duel between the two swordsmen neared its climax. With Luo Ri constantly targeting Yuan Ding, she once again threw herself in front, using her own blood to bind him tightly. Luo Ri thought dying for Yuan Ding was pointless, but she believed that death might free her from this prison, since before she couldn't bear to harm him. Yuan Ding still chased after the imposter, shouting curses, but once Mofei was gone, the imposter returned, asking if he had been cursed yet. He knew for sure that Yuan Ding had seen him and believed Mofei was the heroine of this game, so he decided to get close to her. Yuan Ding knew this hit a nerve. Unable to argue, part of him still saw this as a game, and Mofei as the main female lead. Later, the fake Yuan Ding came to Mofei's home, but was met with a sword at his throat. No one had ever knocked on her door before. He claimed he came to deliver food, but she pinned him down, causing the food to spill. So he left. His real goal to make her feel guilt and change her mind. He confided in Mofei that he was a wandering singer who loved the sight of the red spider lilies near an old manor. He wanted her to come live in that paradise with him. I stress a paradise. Yuan Ding found this utterly infuriating, because what's called the paradise escape was nothing but a mirage. The very next day, Mofei set out on an assassination mission, but ran into a fake Yuan Ding. She hid her sword, unwilling to reveal her darker side to him. Returning home, the fake Yuan Ding had prepared a meal for her. Yuan Ding kept trying to scold her relentlessly, though it was all just empty noise. Mofei wanted to know if he hated killing. Who wouldn't hate it, but survival leaves no other choice. Mo Fei recalled a childhood moment when someone risked everything to protect her. Sadly, that someone was Yuan Ding, the very person she now couldn't see. Yuan Ding seethed with frustration, powerless to help. Later, Mo Fei accepted a new mission. The employer noticed rumors that she had begun to love someone were true. He warned her to stay away, saying one day the person she loves might be the one to threaten her life. She bought 2 tickets to see the red spider lily. Planning to go with the fake Yuan Ding, she also decided to leave this place and travel with him for a few days. Packing up, she was confronted by 2 thugs provoking her and mocking the one she cherished. Realizing their mistake, they apologized profusely, but she forgave them without anger, showing just how much she had changed. She went to the lighthouse where she had planned to meet the fake Yuan Ding, yet she waited there 3 whole days and nights, but he never showed. Yuan Ding watched helplessly as she sat alone. No matter what he said, she wouldn't listen. That day, her employer arrived with news since her retirement. Rival factions had invaded, pillaging and attacking. Suddenly, a cannonball blasted the lighthouse apart. The enemy had surrounded the area below. Believing the fake Yuan Ding captured, she risked everything and fought fiercely, defeating most of the enemy to save the little girl the fake Yuan Ding once tried to protect. But after saving her, the little girl stabbed Mo Fei from behind, and the mastermind behind it all was the very one she had secretly loved for so long. The person she had quietly adored, still untrustworthy, yet brazen as ever, trapped amid enemies. She had no choice but to face the harsh truth she had been toyed with. Gathering her strength, she lunged toward him, but another held her back, swearing vengeance. She vowed to claim his life when suddenly everyone around vanished. Only he remained before her. Mo Fei charged with her sword, but his demon stood in her way. Her blade shattered, unable to touch him. He offered her a choice: die, or become a demon sealed inside this very thing. She chose the latter, and he bound her with thorny vines. If she could endure, she would become a demon. Yuan Ding, furious, charged at him but could not reach him. She thought this cruelty was beyond words. But he claims he and Yuan Ding were one, that he knew his every thought and was just like him. Because when playing games, Yuan Ding never cared about his character's feelings. He said when Yuan Ding grew strong like him, his thoughts would be the same. With that, he left, and the dictionary revealed that this man was a fragment of Yuan Ding's soul, left behind in this space. Yuan Ding tried to save Mo Fei but lacked the power. He realized his previous seal on her was thanks to his own injury. Now, he wanted to try again. The dictionary warned if he failed, he could never return. He hesitated, lacking the courage, but as the space began to collapse, he resolved to be a man just this once. Climbing to Mo Fei's side, he admitted he was like that other self, but vowed to do his best. He took a kiss from her to gather courage, then plunged into the remaining shard of the sword. He succeeded in freeing Mo Fei, and showed her all his efforts over time. Mo Fei realized he wasn't her enemy. Yet, he went this far all for her. She knew she liked Yuan Ding, but none of it meant anything if he were dead. She begged him to wake. Moments later, he did, drawing his sword. She thought he was teasing, but no. He had truly died and been revived by Anqi's energy. That's how he survived. He won Mo Fei's heart and wanted to return outside with her. Whatever debts awaited, they'd face together. Stepping out, he let Anqi rest, knowing now was the time to unleash his power. He merged with Mo Fei, clad only in thorny vines wrapped around him, but his strength and speed soared. A single punch sent Luo Ri flying 10 meters, charging for a second strike. He was suddenly pulled in. He unleashed his vines to attack both foes, then rushed forward, delivering a flurry of blows. Yuan Ding wanted to show Luo Ri his strongest move, but the dictionary urged speed. With time running out, he struck swiftly and was torn apart. Luo Ri now looked less than human. He felt a strong bond with Mo Fei, but accidentally grabbed her horn, earning a fierce punch. Then, the director arrived with some seeds for him. As promised, she was ready to handle things here, giving him a chance to slip away. He fled quickly. The director warned him never to speak of this place or face punishment. He obeyed and left, while the principal wore a sinister smile. The next morning, both An-Chi and Mo Fei would join the class Yuan-Ding attended. He was asleep, exhausted from last night's endless tasks. Upon waking, 2 girls sat on either side, both claiming he had stayed up playing with them. This sparked misunderstandings among the boys, who chased him relentlessly. He escaped and began his true mission. He visited the library, asking the librarian for books on plants and seeds. She found 5 books, but allowed him to choose only 2, as his level wasn't high enough for all. Excited, he took them home to learn how to cultivate the 2 seeds, given by the director, though the dictionary warned demon seeds differ from normal ones, so these seeds were nearly useless. But the botanical dictionary was usable. The dictionary absorbed the book and leveled up, unlocking new knowledge. With her new skill, she could assess the seed and reveal how to break its seal. He unlocked the seed, creating a shimmering lotus pond. Then he dropped the pink seed into the water, while leaving the blue one on the ground to soak in the moonlight. Days passed, but nothing stirred. Meanwhile, Luo Re was still alive and returned to report to his master. The villain believed planting Luo Re as a spy was a brilliant move. He gradually set the 7 emperors against each other, planning to deal only with An-Chi himself. The strategy seemed flawless until it failed spectacularly, so Luo Re informed him that a legendary elf had entered the scene. The master listened intently. Determined, he vowed to risk everything just to capture this elf. Meanwhile, the elf's owner was busy killing Yuan-Ding, who was deep in slumber. Suddenly, the magic dictionary called Yuan-Ding awake. The seed beneath the pond had awakened, swiftly sprouting a radiant flower. The elf born from the seed rested inside the lotus blossom. Recognizing Yuan-Ding, she demanded his life. Panic surged through him as he tried to plead for mercy, but she declared that whoever planted must take responsibility. The elf girl lunged forward, forcing Yuan-Ding to truly defend himself. Just then, the second seed blossomed. The second elf appeared, revealing that both were sisters elves of the Azure clan. He recalled Yuan-Ding's past instructions when reunited: greet them in a special way, together. The sisters surprised Yuan-Ding so much, he froze, though a spark of delight shone in his eyes. Nosebleed and soared at his throat. He temporarily sealed both girls back into the dictionary. The next night, the dean summoned Yuan-Ding to his office, revealing a chilling truth: his life was nearing its end. The confusion in Yuan-Ding's eyes met the dean's grim news about the traitorous guard. Luo Re had escaped and was returning to claim Yuan-Ding's life, along with An-Chi's and hers. When Yuan-Ding asked how to escape this fate, she advised him to leave the academy, taking An-Chi with him. Just at the gate, the librarian requested Yuan-Ding to gather a few books along the way to replenish the library. She handed him a magical stone, instructing that whenever he found new gear, he should use this stone as a transfer token. She promised to exchange it for better equipment. With warm goodbyes, everyone eagerly awaited Yuan-Ding's return. As he journeyed through the forest, Yuan-Ding wondered where Lianshang and Yue Tan had gone. An-Chi explained they had gone ahead, drawn by a nearby lake. Excited, Yuan-Ding ran forward with An-Chi close behind but emerging from the woods. No lake appeared. Instead, they faced a mighty dragon. The dragon, fascinated by the elves, demanded Yuan-Ding hand them over, calling itself the legendary fire dragon. It had heard rumors of humans possessing elves. It came to challenge Yuan-Ding, intent on seizing the elves for itself. Yue Tan disliked the interruption, as it spoiled her and her sister's scenic moment. But Yuan-Ding insisted she stand back and let him handle it, boasting of defeating an 8th rank knight. Yuan-Ding shocked the dragon, who was only rank 3. The dragon's plan was simple: intimidate, steal the elves, and claim a reward from its king. Yet Yunding showed respect, challenging the beast. They raced through the forest, Yunding weaving spells to shield himself as the legendary fire dragon pursued relentlessly. They blocked each other, and finally both tumbled into the lake. Each side taunted the other one too scared to climb out, the other too afraid to dive in. He decided to use a sturdy vine to pull the dragon down, and since the vine was unbreakable, the dragon reluctantly surrendered. He demanded a prize for winning the challenge, but he knew well the dragon had no money. The dragon warned him that his carefree nature would one day cost him dearly, then soared away. Before leaving, the dragon gifted him a flute and promised to come to their aid if called. After that, they headed to the hotel, where the receptionist introduced the area's tourist spots. Each island around the lake offered unique services. Yunding paid little attention, eager to secure a room first. That night, feeling bored, and she was told the lake's legend by their guide. In the past, the lake was covered entirely by lotus leaves. Then one night, all the leaves suddenly withered, no one knew why. Suddenly, Lianshang silently walked away, while Anqi had already fallen into a deep sleep. He confronted Lianshang about her strange behavior. She had been dazed all day and insisted it was none of his business. He believed she was his spirit guardian. But she actually disliked Yunding, only tolerating him because her younger sister fancied him. He didn't recall offending her, and she didn't either, just a vague sense that he needed to be dealt with. He suspected she held memories tied to this place. Suddenly, fragments of memory flashed in her mind, triggered by Yunding, and she blamed him. When she attacked, he fought back. 3 thugs appeared, aiming to capture the spirit guardian and stall so Laknat could finish his own mission. 2 other spirit guardians arrived as well. He summoned the dragon to handle the 3 intruders, but the dragon demanded a spirit guardian to join the fight. He realized he'd been tricked. The 3 girls charged to pick their opponents, while the dragon chased Yunding for a personal score. He dove into the water and tried to pull the dragon down with the vine, but this time it breathed fire, burning him before being dragged under. He submerged and assured the girls not to worry, he had a plan. He struggled to pull the dragon fully underwater. The dragon resisted, but Yunding caught sight of a magical ring beneath the water. He was sucked in, forcing McPhi to jump in after Nguyet Dam to protect his sister. But he was injured, sparking Lianshang's fury. Her anger fled so fiercely it felt like a battle of 1 against 3. McPhi joined the fight, forcing the enemies to stall, hoping Laknat had finished his task. Meanwhile, Laknat reached Anqi's location, intent on eliminating her. Yunding found himself trapped in another dimension. He encountered another version of himself, who cryptically announced that the new game had begun. Then he met Lianshang again. Seeing his injuries, she bandaged him tenderly before leaving. Yunding's other self urged him to ask her name, so he did. She said her name was Lian Lak, confused. Yunding realized this was a memory she had discarded, causing discrepancies. Because she had rejected these memories, the truth was warped. His other self insisted Yunding obey him if he wished to escape. Without a dictionary to guide him, Yunding refused to be as cruel as his counterpart, so they swapped places. From now on, Yunding would be invisible. He approached a nearby tree and punched it, knocking the fire dragon down. It was the very fire dragon. His other self threatened it, ordering it to spy on Lian Lak. If it failed, he'd roast it alive, fearful. The dragon learned about Lian Lak's personality and workplace. Most importantly, it discovered she was searching for medicine to heal her sister. Armed with this info, his other self went to a date, releasing the dragon. He found Lian Lak, who didn't recognize him. He asked where she was headed and offered to accompany her to gather the healing herbs. Knowing a lot about medicinal plants, they ventured to a cave rumoured to hold rare herbs, while the dragon lurked nearby. As they reached for the herbs, Yuending's double pointed out that what they saw was actually a monster's tail, and the herbs were elsewhere. Lian Lak rushed ahead alone to pick the herbs, awakening the beast, which caused rocks to fall and strike her. Yuending rushed to save her, but his double acted first. Lian Lak stretched to grab the herb before fleeing. His double had a plan, pulling him away. Along the way, his double wanted to stop, but she insisted on pressing forward, unwilling to let anyone else be hurt because of her. They reached a cliff where Lian Lak grabbed a stick to fend off the monster, but charging at it was futile. Yuending's double had to rescue her, carrying her across the cliff. She fainted, while he returned to face the monster. Yuending realized the fire dragon was scheming, so he called it over. Without blaming it, he kicked it down the mountain and ordered it to fetch a rare herb from below. When Lian Lak regained consciousness, he returned the herb and even gave her an additional medicinal plant. The next day, they met again. He asked how she felt about herself and revealed he knew a way to save her sister. But the price was steep. After some thought, she made her decision. That night, when she returned home to her sister, Yuending noticed another Lianxiang hear the real Lianxiang. He realized this other Lianxiang must be the true one in their world. The next morning, he followed Lianxiang and boldly confessed his feelings. Learning she felt the same, he poured out everything, causing Lianxiang to run away. But it was a plan. He knew this was her sister in disguise. Yuending called him shameless for playing both sides, but he knew the real show was just beginning. That night, Lianxiang hid the truth from her sister, suspecting Lian Lak might be sacrificing her own happiness for her sake. Yet she wanted certainty. Liansung kept the secret from her sister, believing Lian Lak might be giving up her happiness because of her, but she sought clarity. She wondered if Yuending was truly right for her sister. So the next morning she went searching for him and found him asleep in the grass. She reached out to catch a butterfly but got grabbed by him. He soon let her go and invited her on a boat ride. He knew about Lianxiang's past, that she and her sister had played at the lake and accidentally fallen in the water, or she's been struck by a chilling cold, leaving her struggling to walk. Meanwhile, he plans to confess his feelings today, catching Lianxiang by surprise. But her illness only deepens, and Lian Luo quietly sits nearby on a boat. Determined, she chooses sacrifice to complete the cure for her sister. When Lianxiang wakes, she's at home, thinking the confession was just a dream, and comforted that her sister is safe here. Days later, Lianxiang meets Yuending again. Realizing time is slipping away, she drops the act of being Lian Luo, daring to ask the price for the medicine. The cost. A heavy toll of blood from loved one's donation means a fight for survival. That night, she returns home, hiding the truth. Only after discovering the fake Yuending's cure does she find a new herb and wait in hopeful silence. Shindai, I shall outside, in the final scene. Luo Ri is about to strike when Anqi's protective shield emerges. She wakes and calmly runs to embrace Luo Ri, suspicion nowhere in sight. A loud noise echoes outside, so she pulls Luo Ri along. The three goblins are weary, struggling against their foes. But Luo Ri and Anqi rush in. Luo Ri lunges at the goblins. Anqi, thinking he's foolish, accidentally hits the wrong target. Yet, no mistake, his true target is her. Meanwhile, Yuending faces the fake Yuending and Lian Luo. They pretend, knowing Lianxiang is eavesdropping. Lian Luo spews venomous words, trying to abandon her sister, to fuel Lianxiang's hatred, so she won't mourn when she leaves. That night, Lianxiang recalls her sister's words, loses control, grabs a knife, and approaches Lian Luo, ready to strike, but her heart won't allow it. Yet Lian Luo knows and stabs herself, believing it's the only way to save her sister. She begs Lianxiang to take her to Lotus Pool for Yuending's cure. With her final breaths, Lian Luo entrusts her sister, though Lianxiang sees no reason to live without her. She drags Lian Luo into the water, pleading with the spirits. The fake Yuan Ding uses his power, offering a choice to become a goblin. She agrees, desperate to reunite with her sister. But the transformation fails. Only Lian Shang becomes the goblin. She seals her memories away, a fragment twisting her mind to see herself as the sister. Like Lian Luoyan, Yun is furious, treating goblins like toys and using any trick to win, no matter the cost. He believes they are human too, with feelings, and no one has the right to erase that, but he lacks the strength to fight himself. He thinks, instead of playing games here, he should find a way out, because Mo Fei and the others are in danger outside. He then resets everything, this time eager to see what Yuan Ding will do. How will he change fate? He gains control again, meets Lian Luo, and together they gather herbs day by day. Though he lacked supernatural power, he was always there, devoted, unwavering to help her. Yet, Lian Luo found himself powerless to save Lian Xiang. He tried to comfort her with science and reason, but she had already exhausted every method. Clinging to the hope that one day a cure would be found, she desperately wanted to believe in his words. When she thought of using blood, it was Yuan Ding who secretly came to her home, met Lian Xiang, and warned her that her sister was risking her life to make medicine, begging her to stop Lian Luo at all costs. Seeing how kind he was to the sisters, Lian Xiang insisted on inviting him for a meal. 2 days later, Lian Luo, noticing how much his sister liked Yuan Ding, invited him over to return the favor. But during the meal, both fainted because Lian Xiang revealed that Lian Luo also had a heart condition, and she always felt guilty, desperate to save her brother, so she could only repay her sister with her own blood. When he came to, the sisters had vanished. He ran to the lake, only to find fate had reversed. This time, it was Lian Xiang who had passed away. Unable to accept this tragedy, he begged for one more chance. Yuan Ding agreed, curious to see what he could accomplish. He returned once more, continuing his daily care for Lian Luo. But this time, he let events unfold exactly as Yuan Ding had done. When Lian Xiang tried to confront her sister, he rushed in to stop her. He revealed the truth that Lian had intentionally sown hatred between them. Though he saved the sisters, the outcome remained unchanged. Because it was a story of the past, and no matter what he did, he couldn't bring either of them back to life. But Lian Xiang expressed deep gratitude for his efforts to save her, so now she would no longer hide away. She gave Yuan Ding a kiss, a symbol of thanks. Yet Yuan Ding tried to block his path. Lian Xiang believed her Yuan Ding was not like him, and though he couldn't change her past, there was still a future out there for him to shape because everyone wanted him to return. Then, she pushed him out of the consciousness space. Fire Dragon begged to follow, promising that once restored, it would obey Yuan Ding. Emerging from the lake steps, Fire Dragon struck Luo Ri with a blow. He rose, ready to fight on. The 3 girls and the dragon surged forward, hearts ablaze. Meanwhile, Lian Xiang decided to grant Yuan Ding her power. They fused as one. Luo Ri didn't want this union, but it was already too late. This time, he moved with greater fluidity than when combined with Mo Fei. He unleashed water attacks, successfully freezing Luo Ri. He knew it would only hold him for minutes, just enough time to handle the others. When a thug tried to attack Yue Fan, he dashed forward, froze him solid, and threw him aside. Then, he charged into battle. The second opponent was toying with Mo Fei. Yuan Ding unleashed torrents of water attack, freezing him too. Only one remained to bother Fire Dragon and Anqi. He cut the ropes binding them, then pummeled that foe with a full-body massage of punches, kicked him into the water. He turned back to face Luo Ri. Luo Ri broke free and vowed not to underestimate his enemy again, but Yuan Ding wasn't reckless either. He summoned Mo Fei to join forces, forming a powerful trio. Together, they forced Luo Ri to his knees. Sure. Then, releasing him to move, Luo Ri lunged forward, but Yuan Ding drew a trident, blocking the attack. They exchanged blows fiercely until Yuan Ding kicked him back. He created a barrage of magic circles, shooting ice shards at Luo Ri. Luo Ri tried to block but couldn't stop all, resorting to clones to fight alongside him. Despite their efforts, the gap in power was undeniable. Luo Ri was kicked onto the bridge, and as Yuan Ding prepared to finish him with a magic orb, Anqi stepped forward to protect him. Yuan Ding hesitated, throwing the orb into the sky and reverting to his original form. Anqi argued that fighting each other made no sense. She didn't want Luo Ri to die, pleading for an end to the senseless battle. But Luo Ri lacked the courage to accept Anqi's care. Rising and walking away, she still wished to see Anqi again, but Luo Ri felt he'd only bring her regret. Suddenly, the lake's surface began to tremble, and a massive lotus bloomed. Lianshang said she had stayed too long here. Now, she had to return life to her sister. She would remain here, hoping to meet the group again someday. She also wished Mo Fei would soon find the freedom she sought. As for Yue Fan, she believed her sworn sister would find happiness with Yuan Ding. True to her promise, Yue Fan trusted that would happen. And then, everyone returned to where they belonged. Lian Sun returned to the lotus pod, Yue Fan back to the dictionary, and Mo Fei encouraged him to cheer up, rise up and join her in rebuilding their ideal world. Returning into the book, he sought out Anqi, urging her to continue their journey together. They climbed onto Fire Dragon's back, and only then did Anqi realize everyone was a spirit, by chance. She also held a seed, one she had kept hidden all along, shocking Yuan Ding with this late revelation.